hide my screen while I eat my bar and mute myself.
All right, you guys, welcome to our, what month are we in? October PPSDC image critique. We've got, let's see, I'm going to share my screen here. And, oh, there we go. All right, can you guys all see that? Okay, everyone can see. Cindy, can you see?
I can, thank you.
All right, we are going to start. Let's see, can I make this bigger? See if that helps. Okay, it's big enough. All right, this image has a title, Cast Off Winter Shroud. Cast Off Winter Shroud. Cindy, you want to do this one first?
Sure.
Okay.
So I sent you all this morning a copy of the 12 elements. So if you want to look at those, so when you can analyze your own images, and they are actually in order of most important, which was a sad day for me when I learned that, but whatever. So the first one is impact. And this image has a lot of impact. It has, I love the leading line of the road into the water, which makes the reflection of the water bounce me up to the mountains and back to the water. So I'm noticing that my eye is never going out of the mountains or the water or the landscape. I'm not being stuck in the sky, and I'm not leaving the center of interest. I like the composition is very nice. Technically, everything looks in focus, which on a landscape, you want that. And I do have high def screens, so just FYI on that. I love the tonality. I'm not sure about the name. I think like Cast Off Winter Shroud. And ironically, right, names are important in PPA judging. I think that because this is an image that has a feeling of connecting with nature, you know, the winter part of the name I think is good, but I think if you use a warmer, more emotional name, I think that would help it stronger. Just feedback for your, you know, if you want to do that or not. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think you're right on with all of that. The presentation is really nice. Also, the colors of the presentation, the key line is nice. It's not too heavy, not too wide, so presented really nice. And you're right, it's got dynamic symmetry. The lines that are all leading into that beautiful water with the reflection. The only thing that I would say to maybe improve this, I feel like I know there's shadow on those trees along the tracks down there, down here. The only thing maybe brings some more, the shadows on the trees, the blacks are pretty dark. And I don't know if you could bring some more lightness, detail. Thank you. Yes, it's early. My words aren't here yet. Yes, a little more detail in those trees would be nice. But that's it. Beautiful image.
Yeah.
I would merit this image. So
Yeah.
Yeah, good job. Okay. Let's do, I'm going to flip around here. All right, this one's called Surfer. Yeah, I like this. So let's see. I know in image competition, they don't, hold on. Wow, she's sharp. This is great. This is probably a photojournalistic image. I think it's nice and sharp. I like her colors, how she pops. I'm looking here, the presentation is nice. The key line is just this. Good job, you guys. I'm so proud of you with your presentations. We worked really hard to get everyone to put a presentation on their image. So this is fantastic. I do like the color tones. I honestly don't have a lot of constructive. Let's see. The only thing like I would like to see maybe up here, and this is super nitpicky on this image because this is great. How the splash is cut off. I almost think a little bit wider on that to see the full splash of the water and get the impact of how small she is and how big the wave is. Cindy, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Great
And
caption.
back to you've got this great line from the top of the water down, going down, and then back in again because it rotates around the wave. I think it would be more powerful if you could see the top, unless that's the horizon line. And then that's a little bit of a problem because you really don't want a horizon. You want to be lost in the moment. But yeah, I agree with everything you say. I agree.
You could try taking just a little bit of this foreground off because she's almost in the top third. She's more centered. That could help. Play around with that. I love how her hands out and she's leading right. You give it enough space on the right side for her to move around in the image. I think this is really great. Yeah, the only thing that draws my eye, like the longer I look at it, there's like this little spot right here in the water. And being photojournalism, you don't want to take that away. But if you crop it up just a little bit, that's maybe try that. Might work, it might not. But yeah, great image. Good job. All right, Sydney, let's give you this one.
Well, without knowing a category, I think this one is harder to review.
And it's called Greenfield Village Halloween Nights.
So I would not be able to look at this as a portrait. I would look at it more as photojournalism, maybe for an advertisement of this event.
Yeah.
So well done. Everybody is sharp. I'm sorry, clowns creep me out. I'm not sure what it is, but every time I see a clown, I get a little chill. So in regards to photojournalistic, let's go that. So it's a great advertisement piece or photojournalistic piece for fall and for Halloween nights. Isn't it sad we only get one night a year to dress up, but whatever. I think it would benefit from a presentation because I think if this were any type of an advertisement, it would have a presentation around it that would tag on to the colors and keep the eyes in bound. I wish that the fairy was looking at the clown. I wish there was that symmetry of eye to eye, that interaction and engagement with each other. But I think they look like they're all in character. So this is just me reading the image. So whoever you are that took this, that's all this is. I think to have it do well in competition, you might want to dark down, and it looks like you might have dark down that white spot in the sky behind the fairy. Maybe dodge and burn on your, yeah, you can dodge and burn in photojournalism. Dodge and burn just on the characters to have where you want the eye to focus on them. I would assume that would be in the face and the hair, and that would give them a little bit more 3D appearance. And then again, because it's Halloween night, so I guess the color of the leaves would not matter, but the color of the costumes do. So that's
Okay.
and
Yeah.
photojournalism, advertisement or advertisement is a strong point for me. portrait is a strong point for me. Photojournalism is not always my strong point, but photojournalism, the whole gravity of an image is storytelling. So your title will help in the storytelling of what they are doing, if that makes sense.
Very good. Yeah, and because we don't know what category this would be entered into, I'll address it as portrait. I don't think in a portrait category that it would be very well suited. And for the reasons being, there's a lot going on here, and in portrait, you have the opportunity to, and what you're supposed to do in the portrait category is control every aspect of the image. Okay, wait, someone's raising their hand. Cindy, can you look and see what the
It's
question?
Melanie. Hey, Melanie, unmute yourself.
Melanie, let's see.
Okay,
There you are.
There.
Unmute yourself again. There you are.
yes, it is. Yes, it is photojournalism, and yes, I realize I don't have the mat and the key line. So yes, I agree with everything, especially burning down the sky with around the ferry. Yes, these guys. In fact, I sent a second copy of this, and I was going to call it Greenfield Village Comedy Girls, because they were just like the Marx Brothers. I mean, they were hysterical together. So I'm probably going to change it to that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. And I do agree with maybe bringing, maybe lightening the areas of their faces and maybe some of their costume as well. But thank you. I appreciate the input, Cindy.
You're welcome.
Do you have any more of the wings on the right side where the wings are cut off?
You know what? I didn't. And that's a shame. I saw this and I was just getting ready to go in to eat some dinner with some friends and my husband, and I just quickly saw them and I quickly took a few exposures, and I don't have the wings. I really wish I did. Yeah, I could see that might be a stronger image.
Yeah. Okay, well, good. Well, then if it's photojournalism, then I won't even address it as portrait. So that's perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Second, you're welcome. And the other one that from me is also photojournalism.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you again. I'll mute myself now.
Okay, thanks, Melanie. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, let's go here. Let me back out here. Hold on. There we go. All right. Was it you or I, Cindy?
Me.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay.
Yeah. Can you enlarge the little kitty's face?
Yeah. I wanted to see. Let's see. Is that what you wanted to see?
Yeah, I do. Nice. Okay.
Okay, and then we've got the smoke. I just wanted to look at everything. Tail. All right. Be back out here. All right, this is in the spotlight. And I like the spotlight. The direction of light on the cat is really nice. I'm looking, the blacks are handled really well. Oops, my phone's going off here. But it was on. Okay. I like the presentation. So let's break this down a little bit here too. With it has nice impact. When I saw it, the cat looks like it's singing, it's crying out. I like that a lot. So you've got good storytelling here, and your lighting is nice. Your direction of light is nice. It's very sharp, which I like, and that's hard with animals to get sharpness because sometimes the nose will be sharp, but the rest falls off. So you did a great job with that. I like where your light is hitting, it makes me go right to the cat's face, and that is nice. And there's also some lighting in the background so that a lot of times when we see black and whites like this, it almost looks like they're floating or you can't see the separation of the background. And I really like how you can see the cat's tail and its back. That great job for that. The whites I feel like are a little bit hot and bright right here on the chest. I think that could be burned down just a bit. It just seems really bright to me. And then, so the smoke. Okay, this could just be personal taste, but I really feel like you could do without the fog or smoke going on because I'm not so sure that it adds to the story. It almost makes me look at the smoke and then like right here in the image, I had to zoom in to see, was that like a mistake? Was it sensor dust? Was it something that wasn't? And I think it's that whatever the fog or smoke that's hanging out is, and then back here. So I almost think I want to see it without that. I would burn down the bottom a little bit too, because this is a little bit bright. It's still done, handled nicely, but it's a little bit bright. And my eye wants to go back down to that corner down there. And then the composition of it. Okay, so it's making me, and maybe this is good, but it's making me a little bit uncomfortable because this cat is so far over on the left. And it's making me think, what is over here with the fog and what is it looking at? And I'm not sure about that, which is good because it's giving me a sense of hesitation. So if that's what you're going for, good job. But if you had moved the cat over here and given it some room for whatever that is to come in, and then there's this void of nothingness on the right side of the image that compositionally, I think it could have been moved over a little bit. Cindy, do you have any thoughts on this?
I agree with everything you said. I'm sorry, somebody else had just registered and was trying to, I had to send them the link.
Okay.
I agree with you, especially on the smoke. Is it necessary? So when you blow that up, it almost looks like there's whiskers detached from the kitty off to the left. So yeah. So I think you were addressing that. I apologize if I'm being repetitive. So that doesn't, yeah, there are a couple of marks there that don't make sense. I did hear you say sensor dust.
Well, I wasn't sure what it is. And as a judge, when I'm looking at this, I'm going, what is that? Is it the smoke? Is it you don't want a judge to question things. You want the viewer to know right away what it is. Because the other thing too, in a PPA competition, they give you do you have 10 seconds to do your first analysis of it, and then you want to be able to judge it on that initial impact. So there's things like that you could go in and clean up the dust here, and then in the back, because it almost looks, I mean, I know now by looking at it, because there's the smoke up here, this probably is smoke, but I'm thinking like, what is the smoke? Where is this coming from? Why is the cat smoking? Is it on fire? Like, why? And these kind of look like little hairs. So did a blower blow? Are there cat hairs blowing in the wind? What is that?
Too, instead of, Otto, I'm going to guess this is your kitty. And if it's not, it doesn't matter, but
it is.
okay. So I know it looked familiar. So, if you want some kind of a texture in the background, consider adding a texture over the top. It could be something like smudge paint, of which you would put as an overlay. Or it could be a linen, or it could be a canvas looking. If you're looking for that texture, cut your portrait portion of it out, overlay it in the background, take it down on the opacity so that then seeing that little bit of texture there, if that's what you're going for, because it is nice on a black and white to have texture in the background, and it from afar it makes it interesting. You really want to look at what's going on, but in the same respect, um, the triangular lines don't make sense for
The
smoke.
ones in front of his face.
Yeah.
That's so, and I have to explain I had the picture of the cat for a long time, clean background, everything. I shot the smoke separately, and then there's actually like different layers of smoke. I was setting off packs of matches and then trying to photograph that.
And
And the
trying
idea
not to
was,
light the cat on fire.
yeah, not set off the fire alarms in the house. But yeah, I was trying to make it look like a lounge act, or like the cat was on stage. That was what I was trying to do with the smoke, and it looked just empty. I had it sitting for a long time, and it's like without the smoke, it wasn't very interesting. It's like
Okay.
a brilliant shot of the cat, and it looks like she's singing, but that was what I was trying to do with that. And I shot
Good.
the upper corner. I shot with a reflector shooting diagonally across when I was shooting the smoke to try and make that direction of light more apparent. That where the source is up in upper left corner.
See, I think technically, Michelle nailed it on if you could make that left side larger. In other words,
Mm.
Kitty is too close to the left. He needs to be she. Sorry, I don't remember. But there needs to be more space because it's so far up against the left. And then two, when you look down, the way you handled the backdrop and the shadow, the front, the shadow of the back, and then if that's paper, the paper line, that's beautiful. So I get what you're going. You may want to add a different image in the background, like it's in a bar or something. I don't know, but
Well, and Otto, if you're going for that kind of storytelling and you're compositing in smoke and stuff like that, I mean, push yourself, take it to the next level. Go take a photo of a old-fashioned microphone, move that kitty in, put the microphone off to the left side, just kind of half in, half out, make it look more like the cat singing, adds, some more interest.
yeah, that's good.
That way, that would be more storytelling. Just an idea, something you could do, because then
Well, yeah, I was trying to stay within my my ability level at
yeah,
this point.
but that
I
would
figured
be,
I could do the smoke. I was like, okay, I do screen blending mode and play around with masking it where it didn't look right.
well, and sometimes, I mean, this is good that we're being able to give you feedback, because I know there's been times where I'll look at my own image and go, oh yeah, I totally get it. And like you have your vision of this is a cat singing in a bar lounge and you could see it. But me not knowing that, like I did not see that at all. I couldn't get that. And I didn't understand what the smoke is. Now, when you explain your image, yeah, okay, now cool, I could see that. But as a judge coming in or somebody just looking at your image, unless we know that, unless there's a story written off to the side or you're actually there explaining the image, the viewer is not necessarily going to get that. So,
Well, I
but
might also change title as well.
yeah, you could
Keep
use it with
that
the title and call it Lounge Singer Cat or something like that. But yeah, and then with the smoke, then Otto, go in there and clean up all this.
that is completely random. It's not. The smoke is a separate layer from the cat, so it's not like it was moved off her face or she was even there.
Yeah, that's
a good
so. But
good
at least,
find there. I did not notice that. It's like, wow,
yeah, so
That's
go
how it
in there.
always is, though,
that
isn't it?
doesn't look like whiskers. It
Yeah,
looks like some type of cloning problem or
yeah, and so judges are going to look at that. So, well, good
okay.
job. Okay, let's go down here. And then Cindy, you're up.
I love flower images.
Purple Mallow.
I'm sorry?
It's called Purple Mallow is the title of the image.
Well, it's got great impact. I love the color harmony. I like how sharp the center of the flower is. I like that the leaves are not in focus. You've done a nice job putting it, the composition on the third. I would like to see a little bit more on the bottom, and that would have put you more in the top or one third, top one third. But that one bottom leaf, it would, I think it would be more complementary to the image to have the entire thing. The lighting, I like the lighting on the image. Trying to think of all of the things I can give you. And so I said that about the color. That said, the colors that you have here are, I would consider somewhat soft. I like the neutral color in the background. Sorry, I'm,
Yeah, Cindy, will you check your text message real quick?
yes, she did register.
Oh, okay. How? Okay. So, yes.
Yes, so yes. Sorry, we have other people that are trying to come in that have just registered this morning. So that said, on your presentation, the color tone on that, I think, should be more in tune with the color tone inside the image. I love black frames, and it looks black to me. But there are times that it's not. So this, I would think on a flower like this, especially with the tones that you have, you would want to keep your framing dark, but you would also want to keep it, I think, softer, if that makes sense. If I seem to be struggling for words, I apologize. I'm just trying to be as thoughtful as I can on your image. So Michelle, what else do you have?
Yeah, I agree on the presentation. Playing around with maybe, yeah, I don't know. I do like the black though, because it draws me in. That's a tough one. It's the orchid color key line that's drawing me out. I feel like that key line is too bright. But as far as the flower itself, everything I agree with what you said. I do like how it's sharp here and here, and that I like the depth of field. The one thing that I would omit is, or I would get rid of this right here. This is distracting me. Everything else kind of seems to flow and I like, but my eye keeps wanting to go down here. The colors are different. It's brighter. It's this right here to me is taking away from the flower. The composition's nice. Definitely the flower is the center of interest in the subject matter. I like the lighting. I almost would go in and brighten up the center a little bit. Did you say that already, Cindy?
No, but I was thinking dodge and burn just to give it a little depth.
Yeah, give it some depth and dimension in there so that definitely that center of that flower would become without a doubt the center of interest for that. But I really like this. It's a lovely flower. I'm looking. Yeah, I like there's enough room. I always look too on images, like, is there enough room between and I think even this is okay. This doesn't bother me that this leaf is cut off because you're in the thirds and you have room here and you have room here. I almost think that if the leaf was showing all the way, that I might look more at this leaf. So I think that was done well. So yeah, I think it's
See, those where we
beautiful.
differ.
Oh, really? See, you want to see the whole leaf?
Yeah, only because I think it would put it more up in the upper one third. It would put it more left. The whole image would be more left because you're expanding it towards the bottom right.
Okay.
But that's, that's subjective.
Yeah, see, that's subjective, and it's interesting because you could get a challenge on this image and one judge could say, yeah, what Cindy would say, no, I think it needs to have that,
Excuse
and
me.
I would say, no, it doesn't, and we talk about it, kind of a thing. Yeah, but it's lovely. I think this one is great. Anything else we want to add to this, Cindy?
The dodging and burning will give your flower dimension. It'll give it more of that 3D
Mhm.
effect and bring a focus there instead of, um, I mean, and it really is where do you want your primary focus to be?
Right.
So I think that would help it.
All right. Let's see. We did 1, 2. We did this one. Let's. All right. We've got the train. You want me to take this one, Cindy?
Mhm.
I think I'm next. We're kind of going back and forth, but we're both talking about things. So let's see. This one's called Morning Train. And I like the morning light. It does have a nice presentation. And the color tone is very nice with the morning light. We have the train is just center horizon there, right there in the middle. Boy, I'm just going to talk about it out loud and just break it down. I don't know what category this would be in. Maybe illustrative or commercial. Like if this was a commercial image, you left a lot of room up here to put words, which that is nice. But if it's in an illustrative category, I almost feel like there's too much sky. I do like the reflection here. You could have maybe even given me a little, normally I don't say give me a little more foreground, but I think on this image, because of the reflection, we could have had a little bit more. My eye keeps wanting to go over to this. I would have eliminated that. Um, the lighting, okay, so the lighting in the morning is, it's a nice golden light, but I feel like this image is, the the lighting is really kind of flat for me. There's no, I'm not quite sure what the center of interest. We've got the train is the center of interest, but then I'm looking here, I'm looking here. The darks right here on the side in the grass are, it's very black over there and we're losing detail. So for this image, technically, I think the lighting could be, I think you were trying to get that morning light, but it just seems like flat morning light to me. And then the detail in the blacks. Cindy, help me out here. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I agree with you on the detail in the dark areas. And we say that a lot because we've been dinged a lot so many times for it.
Yes.
So that's one of the things you always want to make sure of is your whites have detail and your darks have detail. Never let anything go black with no detail in it. My dad loves all things trains. And in my childhood, we spent a lot of time driving across the United States, um, watching trains. So I look at this, and the color of the light to me reminds me of a nostalgic feeling, kind of that early, what was it, 1940s, 1950s color of color images, if that makes sense, where maybe not that far back, but it just gives me a nostalgic feeling with a little bit of that yellow, golden brown color in it, especially with the navy blue. I really like the image. And to be honest, I really wish there wasn't two palm trees there, but whatever, it's a category change depending on if you're taking that out. But I really like the image again because my dad is a lover of all things trains. And that's something that has been ingrained in me. Other than that, I think Michelle nailed it on her comments with everything else. So, and I do like the pano crop. Trains are long, amazingly long. And yeah, I like it.
Okay, thanks, Cindy. Let's see. I think we have, let's see, we looked at this one, this one, this one. Oh, we have this one for photojournalism. Halloween Nights, Greenfield Village. Okay. And this one is a photojournalistic.
Is it my turn to start?
Yeah, sorry. Yes, I'm looking at it. Still
Yeah, me too.
in. Okay, I think it is your turn to start.
So I think Melanie, that you said this was yours only because I can recognize the title, Greenfield Village. Um, Great color, but and you went with a square crop. So pardon me, I'm looking at it with a magnifying glass because of so many things I can't tell. What I can tell right off the bat is that, oh, thank you.
What part do you want me to look at?
No, that's good. So it seems that you're focusing on the shadows, Melanie. The what is in focus is the girl with the horns and the person to the left of them. So if you're, it seems like you're trying to show a scene of an event. Yeah. Well, that looks in focus, right? Is that where the center of focus is?
Almost feel like the plane of focus is the black cloth hanging.
Yes. Yeah. So that strikes me right off the bat. I mean, I love silhouettes, but if you're focusing on a silhouette, it's got to be tack sharp. If you're focusing on what is behind a silhouette, in this case, the people in the color, but the shredded black shroud is what is seems to be carrying the focus. Um, so with any image in competition, that's the first thing that would be noticed and hit upon. Do you agree?
Yeah. So I'm looking at it and to see what the initial impact is. The initial impact is that black cloth hanging. So I look at that first. And then as far as like the color balance, I like the color balance with the pinks and the purples and the greens and then the blacks. I mean, it gives you a mood and a feel. Gives you the Halloweeny feel, and I like that. But you're right. I agree with you with what you're saying about if you're going for the silhouette, like what exactly is the story you're trying to see? Because the only face I can see in this image is the guy kind of center left that's walking through. To me, he's the main thing that I look at is that guy walking through. And I can kind of see the silhouettes that maybe it's a witch and a devil. But what kind of story are you trying to tell here? So that's the other question. The composition, like if we break down the 12 elements that impact the technical excellence, so I think we're losing some sharpness and we don't have complete focus on that. Your creativity is great, and that's one of the 12 elements. Then you go to style. I think style and creativity are there. The composition to me, because I don't really know what I'm looking at, it's hard for me to comment on the composition. It doesn't have a presentation, but I know Melanie, you already talked about that. I like the color balance. The lighting is definitely Halloweeny because it's coming from behind, and that's cool. I basically like the feel of it, but I'm just not quite sure what the story is that you're trying to tell or who the subject matter is, because the subject matter to me is that giant cloth hanging. So,
yeah, see, I think that because you have elements here that work and don't work, this might be a great piece for advertising Greenfield Village. But in image competition, they're much harder and much different than an advertising piece, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get a lot away with a lot when we're doing stuff for a client or we're shooting photojournalistically, and it's going to be in a paper or some kind of an advertisement. But when we pull it into an image competition, then they want to be able to hit all of their rules. And so that's where the conflict might be. But again, that's a subjective opinion because no matter how many rules we have, art is still subjective.
Yes. Yep. Very good. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I've learned from that one. That was good feedback. I appreciate it, Cindy and Michelle.
Oh, good.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see, we've got this, 2, 3. I think we only have one more. We've got Maestro, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend.
Illustrative. Thank you for putting that there.
Illustrative. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this for us too, so we can look at some different things here.
Okay.
Just because we know Otto has been playing with textures and smoke and different techniques. And an image competition, a judge is not supposed to do this, but this is an image critique.
Yes.
And so we want to be able to give you the best feedback by zooming in. All right. I forget, is it my turn, Cindy? Am I first?
I think so.
I really like this, Otto. This is cool. Got a lot. The initial impact is great. And it's definitely telling a story. And I think that it's titled well. I like your presentation. And I think that your black and whites were handled really well. I think this is a fun image. I see the motion. I really like your motion here on your hands. And I like, yeah, I like that. I like the background, and I'm enjoying the scene in the background. I feel like it's just enough and it's subtle, and to me it's not taking away. And let's see, your lighting is good. Yeah, I think I already commented on that. Okay, so let's talk about the things that I think, to me, I know that you have some kind of treatment over your eye, but I almost feel like you want the eyes to be the center of this. You're the maestro. It's drawing me and I want to look at your eye, but this fog that you have over the face right here, I think if you kind of repositioned that, where maybe you had some kind of fog coming over, like around the eyes, to where I could see your eye.
Let me explain what I did. I got a constant light, so it's a pop and blur. So I had the light, constant light, and a flash right next to each other.
So is this all
And then
one?
driving the remote control with my foot, per usual.
Is this one capture, or did you do
One
that?
capture.
It is one capture. Okay.
And then I did a sky replacement to put the background might look similar. It's the full image. The I used part of in a previous thing, and I toned it down so it was more pushed towards the background.
Okay.
So I did a sky replacement, actually ended up looking best. I was trying to do it with like screen and other blend modes, but didn't like it. So
And you put this in the illustrative category, which is smart. That's good. And so when it's judged, we're not supposed to assume anything. So we just look at it as a whole. but again, because we're critiquing here, we can make some assumptions and talk that judges might be thinking. Okay, so now that I know how you did it, that makes sense. But I just wish that we could have seen, you have this side of the face is so bright. I love the movement and even this with the ear, but this side, like, you have a little bit of a catchlight in the eye, and I like this. It makes it look like you're almost broad lit. And I think in this, with the name Maestro and how you're going for like a dark, moody look to this bright part of the image isn't helping it. And then you've got like a bright spot here, and your hand is really bright right here. I'm wanting to go over here, and I'm wanting to go right here, which is cool. I'm kind of torn. This is an image that I probably would want to look at longer than 10 seconds so that I could take it all in. Cindy, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, blow it up again so we can see his face. So I looked up maestro, and it's an artistic master, someone who is skilled enough to be considered an artistic genius. So, and why I looked it up is because if a name is directing a judge towards your storytelling, then that's important. So I looked, when I first looked at it, and your eyes are tack sharp, and yet there's movement on your ear and your neck. So to me, I wanted, my question then goes, I'm looking at Maestro and blurred, and not a blurred vision, but a cloudy vision. So into the storytelling part of it, that's how I'm interpreting it, especially with that hard line that is between your left and your right eye. And I say right eye meaning camera right. So we're looking at it. Yes. So there's that one line that's there where all of a sudden there's not that smoke or additional layer or whatever the element is over it that makes the other side, even though the eye is sharp, it still makes it clouded just because it's vague. So that then, with the motion of the hands and the hair being tack sharp in parts, that's a lot of storytelling for me. So you've got me curious as to not necessarily, well, maybe artistic genius in as much as I don't know. I look at it I studied a lot on Minor White. Minor White taught with Ansel Adams. He did portraits and landscapes, and he had a lot of internal conflict. So to me, that's where it brought me, between that and Halloween, actually.
Well, I wanted one
Like,
Halloween themed, so we
yeah,
didn't have an October comp. So
okay. So I look at that, and that's where it first came up, because is that, so the clouded side of the eye is that cloudy vision, is that in the movement in the head and the hands, is that a stop motion, is it a exasperation? So you see where my brain goes. I immediately am creating multiple stories around this. So
I should put Maestro question mark.
well, because it could also be named other things. I again, back to your hands are sharp, your eye is sharp, but your eye is clouded. You've got clouds in the background, you've got a background in the background, and yet some things are sharp. So to me, that's mental, right? Am I going to Storyland because I tell stories?
Well, my working title was oddly personal.
Okay.
I like your mental thing, like The Mentalist or something.
Yeah, because it really is a conflict of or two different sides of the brain. Because the hand with the motion, with the clouds, with the one eye is foggy. Is it what's the word? Is it double-mindedness? Is it duplicity? Is it I want that so bad, but I can't get that? That's why I'm sad that storytelling is last. The 12 elements,
I-
'cause that's where my brain goes.
Well, I don't know necessarily if they're supposed to be the 12 elements in order. Is
I
it?
thought they were, that's where I was told once. It could be, it could not be. It could be they're all 12 equally weighted, but I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was told that it's not, they're not in order.
Okay.
Is when they also give us a pie chart.
Yeah.
They do all the different ones and they're not numbered.
Okay.
You get the pie chart. They're numbered because they are 12 elements is what I understood it. And
Okay.
then but they have, I'll have to find that pie chart. Almost looks like a tree, like, like a family tree where this
Yeah.
is. So I'm not so sure that it is in order of importance.
Okay. So you
So-
can all tell both Michelle and I have done California State judging classes and IPC judging classes. And Michelle's done IPC twice. So you'll see me defer to her a lot because she's done it twice. And even though it was 4 days with 6-hour days,
Yes.
there's
Oh,
so much content that I did state twice and she's done IPC twice. So I did state twice before I did IPC. So you can see there's a lot of content. And anyway,
yeah. And the other thing too, there is a lot of content. It's all swimming around in our brains. Everybody does it different. And then every teacher who teaches like the IPC course, I had two different teachers, Carl Kaler and Chris Duncan. And then for California training, we had Tim Mathieson and Pete Rizak.
Yeah.
So, and each teach, it's just like a judge. Every judge has a different angle and a way to do it, and each teacher has a different way to teach it and brings up different things. So, you could go to one class and it could be all the same material, but a teacher teaches it completely different than the next. So, it's pretty interesting. But back to Otto's image here. I love the creativeness, Otto. Your brain's definitely thinking. And this is one image that one judge is going to look at and say, "Oh, the cloudy over the eye bothers me," and then the other judge is going to go, "Oh no, I love the cloudy over the eye. It adds to the story." So going back to what was your artistic vision? What do you love about it? And you stick with what's true to you. The other things technically that I could pull out is there's a little bit of haloing right here
Mhm.
that that we would look at and go, what's that glowy kind of, technically I would get rid of the glow, and then it looks like there's a dark halo, a reverse halo in places. So make sure if you have dropped in a sky or something behind your subject that technical things like that get corrected, because that isn't part of your blur that you were
Yeah,
doing.
part of that is on the left side, it's the motion. It's the same thing that causes the little halo on the left of my neck. I was moving left to right, I believe. Stage left to,
Okay. But I see it on both sides.
isn't it darker on? Yeah, that one's dark and the other one's light. Yeah, I did notice that. I was like, oh, all right. Well, let me
Yeah.
just get this out here. And this is
Well,
going to be a hard image to perfect. And if I perfect it, will it necessarily, I don't know, part of it needs to be a little bit
what
random and part of it, but
well
if it's distracting, then yeah, I agree with that
yeah, so you
part.
gotta think the judges don't know. Okay, an example I can show is I photographed an image and it was the image that I did for image competition was almost completely straight out of camera, like completely. But I had a headpiece on my model where it had all these flowers and stuff, and there was a gap in the headpiece where light was coming through. And so on the model's forehead, there was like this weird light pattern. The judges all fought over that in 2 different competitions I watched. And I was like, why should I change that? That's exactly straight out of camera. They should know that it's straight out of camera. That was from the technique that was done. I ended up having to go in and put more shadows instead of that where the light was peeking through because they just couldn't get it. And when I went and fixed that, then it made all the difference. So you just have to think, even though you were there and you know that's motion blur, when I look at this, I see the motion blur here, I see the motion blur here. But to me, this just
Different.
looks like
It does look different.
it just
Yeah, no, I'll definitely work on. And
yeah.
so, yeah, there's so much. As you met, there's so much I could go and retouch that I could be here for like years, and I want this for the next comp. So I'll have to figure out the amount of time I'd have to go and tweak things before I submit it. You mentioned a
Address
hot spot on the hands, so I'll have to look at the hands a little bit. I did an
address
overall tweak of bringing them together.
address the foggy vision or the shrouded vision or whatever that is. Address that in your title because it will help set the course.
Yeah, it'll be that one would be, I think, well beyond my ability to fix as well. So
But address
wouldn't
it in the
fix it.
title. Don't fix it.
I
Address
wouldn't
it in
fix
the
it.
title.
I would go to Chat GPT and look up, have a title made out of dubious or duplicitous or double-mindedness, or if you want artist in it, that's great too. If you want, what I bet I would look at what's happening in your image and title it off of that, because now you're directing to the judges to the intentionality of what you've done.
yeah.
Especially
What
with the
occurs to
hand
mind
motion.
is Odin and Loki from Norse mythology. But if I get too obscure with the
Right,
specific
right.
genre,
So
it might
go
not be
look,
good either.
yeah, so look up a thesaurus or go to chat but your hands are intentional, so is the motion. The clouding of the eyes are sharp. So the clouding over the eye is intentional. I wouldn't change the what you've done intentionally, but I would title it according to the intentionality of it.
Yes.
Well, it certainly prompted a lot of conversation. So I think I have something.
Yeah.
I end up with photos that have like the widest range of numbers seen. It's
Yeah.
funny to me sometimes.
All right, everyone. Let's see. We've had this. The cat. Maestro. Halloween. Halloween. The train. The surfer. All right. Very good, everyone. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording. Where is that?
Yeah. Gunnar will have to listen to the recording.